All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into this trade recap here for Thursday, September 16th, 2021. Today, another good day. Made about $1,500 today off of three trades, and we're going to recap those here real quick. So, guys, if you don't get anything out of this video, what I want you to take away from this is very, very important. Okay, and this is something that's not talked about a lot with amongst trading gurus and things like that. Um, you know that you might see on like YouTube and whatnot, which is sad because this is a very, very important aspect of trading. And in this review that I'm going to do for you guys, you'll see why. All right, but what I'm talking about is the psychology behind trading. Okay, it is very, very important. Whenever you hear them say like 95% of traders fail, blah blah blah, it's not really because, the trader didn't know enough or didn't study enough, or sometimes it's not even that they didn't practice enough or been in the market long enough. Most of the time, it typically is because of psychology. Um, Trading psychology is very, very real. I thought it was a joke, but the more you're in, you know, the market and the more you're reviewing your trades and things like that, you'll understand what is meant by it. So, if you don't get anything from this video, psychology behind trading is very, very real and could be the make or break of you staying in, you know, the market. Okay. So if you ever get a chance, read, you know, read about trading psychology. In fact, I mean, even in the Facebook group, I have, some books on trading psychology. One great book is by Mark Douglas. That I suggest that you guys, take a look at if you get time. It's in the file section of the Facebook group there for you for free. So there's no reason why you should. Um, but definitely take a look at that. Read that whenever you get a chance. It's called Trading in the Zone. For a lot of people, that book was like a game changer in their performance and how they trade. Um, there's other books too. If you're in the Learning Lounge, the Learning Lounge at the group, there's a few. Mark Douglas. Just look at Mark Douglas. He's a great, great author about about books and psychology of trading. And in the Learning Lounge, there's a couple of books in there by Mark Douglas as well too, like The Disciplined Trader. You definitely want to take a look at that, and read that. So you know you gotta take psychology very seriously when it comes to trading. Okay, and I'll tell you why. So if you looked at the other workshop that we did, workshop number 10, this should be 11. In that review there, I kind of went over the trades for the day. So let's kind of touch back on what I mean by psychology of trading. Today's trades, I was kind of, you know, almost psyching myself out. This is going to pretty much recap FOMO. If you're not familiar with FOMO as a new trader, it's called the fear of missing out. And what I mean by that is a lot of traders, when they get into the market, they're worried about missing the big play and not hitting the home run, getting those, 50, 100, 200, 300% gainers every single day, that comes out. And what I want to tell you guys is that FOMO, it's real, but it's also something that you create. It's real, but it's not real, It's just something you make up. And I tell you guys all the time that there's always another opportunity in the market. Don't think that you're missing out on anything because those type of runners happen all the time. You just have to be patient and let trades come to you. Okay. Eventually it'll come. Um, but as far as those gainers for you to, hit home runs, those opportunities comes all the time. You shouldn't be focused on those. You should be focusing on base hits. That's why, you need to have a plan. The reason why FOMO exists is because you created it as a trader. Okay. And what I mean by that is you think that you need to be hitting home runs when you don't. Also, too, is created because you don't have a strategy and a plan or a target to hit when it comes to your trading style, which is why it's very, very important for you to have a goal in mind. Because if you have a goal in mind, you're not worried about FOMO, you know, and you need to make that goal realistic. Like for example, if you're, in a trade, if your part of your trading strategy is to shoot for a 1 to 2 or 3% gain of the trade that you're in, you hit that and the stock runs to 1,000%. What does it matter? You hit your goal, you know. So it might hurt to see, but you hit your goal, you should still be satisfied. I understand wanting more is it's just human nature, but that's greed. There's a difference, and greed will get you killed in this market. Okay, but let me go over these trades here real quick so you guys can understand what I'm talking about, and you'll see the thought process behind this, the psychology behind this, and this will happen a lot to you. Whether you're in our chat room or any type of alerts or anything like that, it is going to happen. But knowing how to fix it, how to control it, is something that will help you greatly, and I'm going to show you how. Okay, it's hard to do, but you need to do it. All right. So the trades that we're taking today, the three trades. One was Life, LIFE. That one was later on in the day, and then the two that I took pre-market, um, OPAD and TMC, and I took those at the same time. Now, this is going to be interesting because you guys are going to get the concept behind how this happened, okay? Um, so let's start with the two that was taken in pre-market. We're going to do this in chronological order. First and foremost, you'll see why I had FOMO, and it was creeping in, and I was like, man, and you'll understand why. So let me pull this up here. Now, obviously, in the last workshop, what's funny is the fact that this IRNT was on the watch list. So let's kind of take a look at that. This is September 15th. Today is September 16th. Again, for the morning of the 16th, IRNT was on the watch list. Like I said here, I said, just like last night, guys, we want to watch this again. However, you may want to watch it in the beginning for it to head down. And I meant by like opening bell. And we're gonna recap that. Even though I didn't take that trade, we're gonna look at that and I'm gonna show you why, because this is why FOMO happened. And I said, but since it ended strongly, you want to make sure you're watching levels of resistance carefully. And it ended at $41.65. And of course, the other ones they'll put on the back burners. TMC, OPAD. These are actually the two that I traded, which is crazy. I didn't realize they were on the, the watch list as well too, but trades I did, and you'll see why. Okay. Now again, this is September 15th. Before during that day as well too, we had IRNT on the list, and it went from like what 12 to 20 bucks or some shit like that. So it was crazy. It was a crazy run. Um, yeah. See, they announced the results and ended at $24 and change. But anyways, we're on to Thursday, September 26th or September 16th, 2021, right? It was on the watch list. I wake up pre-market, right? Getting up at 1 a.m. Looking to see if there's a trade I want to do because, it's Webull. I have the ability to do that, um, which is great, which is why I tell you guys to sign up for Webull because you'll have ample opportunity. Let's take a look at IRNT. And some of you guys, we were talking about this together. We were messaging each other because the chat room wasn't open, but we were messaging about it. And we're like, man, this thing is going crazy. Mind you, this ended at $41.65. Had I listened to myself and did what was on the watch list, I had ample time to get in this trade. Because look what happened. This thing went from $41 up to like 60 bucks. If that doesn't create FOMO for you, I don't know what does. And this is pre-market. So this thing grinded all on pre-market, grinding. Was alerted. Hey, it's pre-market high. LBTX was running too, and that was a good one, a good gainer today too. But look, alerted 43.50, 43.50. And me, I'm not even in this trade. I'm just watching. I'm like, crap. It was on my watch list. Why didn't I get in? It's alerted. And guess what? IRNT, IRNT, IRNT. It thing just kept running. Admin saying, hey, secure your profits, guys. This thing is it's up there, right? So now, obviously, I'm kicking myself in the foot, like watching this thing running and running. Level two was looking good. I'm just watching it running and running and running. I'm over here getting angry. Why didn't I get in? Man, I need to get, by the time it's hitting like 43, 40, I'm like, can it still go? Can it still go? Why is it still running? Should I get in? Should I get in? And now the FOMO is building up because I'm watching this stock just run and run and run. And eventually it's got to be some pullback, but you're wondering how much of a pullback will it be? Will it be enough for you to want to get in, buy in the dip? You don't know, you know? So FOMO is just building up, building up. However, you gotta be disciplined. At this point, at a certain point, there's no reason for you to enter the trade at the top. I knew the reason why I didn't get in this trade, the reason why you want to enter the trade is also, very important. And reasons not to enter the trade is very important as well too. By the time the alert went off and I didn't pay attention to it and it went off again, by the time I was actually considering to get into it, it was too late. Relative strength index was very high. Moving average was already, peaked. So by the time it was time for me to get in this thing, I'm just sitting there like, oh man, I'm just gonna keep watching it run. There was no point. But trust me, the FOMO was still there, and you know it's got to pull back. You just don't know how much. And for me, this was kind of out of my dollar range, wanting to trade, but you know, it was there on the radar. So therefore, the FOMO was building up. I'm thinking to myself, man, I'm missing out on all these gains. Was this the pre-market runner that was gonna, be the big gainer that I just missed? Man, so trust me, guys, I know that feeling. You gotta fight that feeling. But the reason why, for me, my trade setup was not there. There's no, don't break your rules. If your trade setup is not there, do not get into the trade. You haven't tested it. You won't know what to do. You're just gonna lose your money trying to gamble. That's gambling. Okay, so understand that. Many traders forget that. So keep that in mind. Now, for the rest of you, oops, sorry about that. Close it out. Now, as far as how to close that out and get rid of it, the best thing to do is just stick into the plan. And I'm glad I did because since my trade setup wasn't there, guess what? Another opportunity came around for me to make money. And because my goal was like $1,000 a day, I had that ability to do that. So let's take a look at OPAT. Now we're still in pre-market, right? Now after IRNT run, I'm just sitting there for like 30 minutes thinking like, man, I done missed out. That sucks. Trust me, I know. But then we get the alert of OPAT, and also we got the alert of TMC, which is the other trade that I jumped in. I expect TMC, and we'll take a look at both of those in a second. So rarely do I like to trade two stocks at once, but sometimes the opportunity is there. For some reason, both of these stocks ran at the same time. Okay, um, so boom, got in, and this thing grinded up pre-market as well too. Excuse me. This thing, OPAD went pretty crazy, um, which was great. You know, we were alerted like 1581. We were alerted like right here that was going off. So let me pull that up there, and wonder if I should do it real time. Probably shouldn't. I mean, I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time, but anyways, OPAD was pretty cool. Got in at 1623. I don't jump in like right away. You guys know that there's no point trying to, you know, be early, but ended up being late. 1623. I got it when it was trying to break out right here. I like to typically wait for a pullback, see where some support is going to be established. It established support after it was alerted. It established support right here. Level two started looking good in pre-market, and buy orders are coming in. So I'm gonna jump in and ride that wave up. So it was up there. It was up there. It was up there, and then pretty much cashed out like 17. So grab my little $1,000 worth, um, or it was like $800. Grab my little $800 worth and got out. So that's one target hit, right? No FOMO's there. Why? Because I did it. I hit my goal, which is great. That was like a quick little, dollar move. So that one was easy. And it held pretty good throughout the rest of pre-market. So there was opportunity there. And then it came back again during, the rest of the day. It traded sideways somewhat, but it stayed within like a good range for you to be able to make profit from 15 to almost, $20. So that's a good range. Um, Obviously, it doesn't like that on the chart because I'm zoomed out. But if you take a look at it, it was some pretty good dips and some pretty good strength for you to capitalize on both ways, whether you're going to be bullish or bearish. You know, by now you should know at least your trading style and how you like to trade. But yeah, it was a pretty easy one. So you had OPAD there, and then we had TMC. Now I'm in both of these trades at once because they're both running at the same time. Let's look at pre-market for TMC. I don't encourage you to be trading two stocks at once. I really don't like doing it, but like I said in the Facebook post, the opportunity is there. I gotta take it. And this one, the opportunity was there for both of them. They were running at the same time. You can see we were getting alerted. TMC, 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 OPAD, 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 OPAD. Talked about Apple for a little bit, and then at this point, I'm like I had to get in both because they were just both set up pretty good. Look at that, easy run, easy run. And then I just took my money at the top when it started to turn again. Pretty simple, which I'm glad I did because this one kind of died out a little bit too. Stayed flat relatively for the rest of the day, but getting in on alert, wait for a pullback, got in, brought it up a little bit, got out. Pure and simple. Target hit. So now I don't feel as bad because I missed IRNT. Why? Because I got my $1,000. FOMO is not real. I didn't miss a big runner. I just feel like, you feel like you missed your trade, even though that trade that you were going to take is a big runner because you were undecisive. You were undecisive because you didn't have a strategy in place with an entry point and exit point. So I'm gonna do like a whole different segment on trading psychology, guys, and how to fix that for you. But I want you to understand, see how that works. You know, I mean, IRNT was on my watch list. It's been on there for the last 2 days, and I didn't take that trade. I felt like I missed it because it went from 20. It had a $20 move pre-market when I specifically said that it was gonna run. This is the this that's for the 17th. So yeah, so just kind of get that in your mind. That's really the main thing that I wanted you guys to kind of understand. We're recapping that trade. Yeah, 41 to 60, matter of seconds. But nailed the other trade, so I didn't feel as bad. I think I had posted that in the group too. Let me see. Yeah, right here. Open up. Yep, that's that trade. So yeah, so understand, guys. As an experienced trader, I'm feeling the same thing that you do all the time. It's not just you, but it's just normal. I mean, it's part of human nature. The market is made up of, you know, the market is made up of human sentiment. It's not just numbers. Keep that in mind. If trading was just about the numbers, none of us would be traders. People, computers would trade for us, even though they do trade. The market is still mostly controlled by emotion. All right. And psychology plays a big factor into that. So read those books that I'm telling you to read. They're right there in the file section of the book. You find yourself in a slump of bad trades, trust me, that book is a game changer for a lot of traders. All right. Um, all of Mark Douglas stuff is game changers for a lot of traders. My eyes were open like crazy when I read those books. I was like, man, this is what I needed to understand because you don't find that stuff unless you're looking for it. You don't find that information. All you mostly will get is videos about support and resistance and all this other junk, like stuff that you know already. The fundamentals is fine to know, but psychology is a very very important part of trading. Okay, guys. Now let's take a look at the last trade, LIFE. This one was a slow grind, and I'm particularly, glad I did this trade in the beginning because it helped me focus on the patience. I almost wasn't glad because of the way that it was taking forever, and I didn't want to give back my profits I had made for the day. But like I said in the post, everything else the rest of the day was just going to be play money, and so I took this trade just hoping to have something, extra for the rest of the week. So, and it worked out well with life, even though it was a slow grind. Okay. Um, so this is pretty much how it played out, and not not too bad with this one. I actually thought, you know, it would do more because of the time of day that it was, and it kept holding strength while other trades were crashing down in a red day. But for the way the market played out, I'm not, I'm not upset. I got in at 10:08, and got out of that bad boy at a pretty decent time. So that one was a good little 12% gain, a couple $600. So that's not too bad. Uh, yeah. So pretty much this thing, it was alerted. Let me see when it was alerted. As you guys know, I don't jump into alerts right away. I just pull it up, take a look at it, see if it's gonna be, doing my famous setup or anything that I like price action wise, and then I'll jump in. So yeah, we were alerted life a couple of times. It ran for a minute too, 960. It's like the earliest alert of it. So you should have pulled it up by then, like right here out the gate. Let it pull back, goes up. Price action is looking good. At 10:08, I get in, and I had to hold this thing for a minute, and I held it through all this right here because I was waiting for it to crack. If it would have went down like $1, you know, that was my risk to reward ratio. Even though the signs was, it crossed the EMA and it crossed the volume weighted average price into bearish territory. My, my my level of risk to reward was about $1 range. I wanted a $1 to $2 move, but I wasn't going to be greedy because I was already, hitting my target. I just didn't want to risk too much money. So even though it was in the bearish territory, it didn't pull back a lot, and I wasn't ready to kind of give up on it because it's at the lower end of the relative strength index, but it's in a higher it's in a higher range of support. So even though this indicator is saying, hey, this thing is low, and this one's saying it's low, you might want to get out. The overall chart itself was showing that even though it's low, this is a high low. This is a new higher low. Okay, so this is why you can't just rely on one indicator either because you need to know support, resistance. You need to be able to look at chart levels. You need to understand what's going on with the stock. One, there's no magical indicator. This thing saying sell, why would you? This thing saying buy, why would you just listen to that? It doesn't make sense, to just rely on one indicator. You need to have a combination of things that's giving you the odds, and the knowledge that you have behind trading will help you with that, along with practicing. Okay. So, anyways, got in at 10:08. It dropped only about, you know, 20 cents, no more than like 30 cents. So I'm okay with that. Waiting long enough for the pullback. This is giving me a good sign. This looks good. I'm hoping it continues, but then it starts to pull down again. So I'm getting a little worried at this point. Um, Waiting to see, like, once it would have cracked like 950, because that's like a 50-cent move from there, I would have started to get a little bit panicked and maybe got out, but I didn't. And thank goodness I stuck to my plan, stuck to my plan, and this thing rode up, rode up, rode up, and it kept showing strength, which is great. And then I just got out because I didn't want to hold it too long. So, you know, grabbed my little lunch money and left. Um, so that's pretty much how that worked. But yeah, and I didn't have FOMO because I didn't get greedy because I had a target. You guys see how that works? You have a plan, you stick to your plan, you follow your rules, your trades will work out fine. And the idea is to keep doing that over and over and over and over. Don't let the idea that, oh, this stock is going to run from $10 all the way up to $15 get in the way of you actually securing your profits because it will happen and it'll cause you to blow up your account. Greed is a terrible, terrible thing, but it happens. It's just nature. Okay. So if you don't get anything out of this video, guys, like I said, psychology, psychology, psychology. The thought process behind you and your trades is very, very important. And this is something that cannot be taught to a mass level. The only thing that, when you thinking about signing up for a guru's course or anything like that, even thinking about taking my course, which I don't encourage you guys to do. I try to teach you everything, where to go find everything on your own by reading those books and all that good stuff. The course is just there for people who need a shortcut to learn everything and want to get my insight on stuff. Um, and it's just for beginners who need to start out to get the full scope of trading and what you need to learn from A to Z. It's, I don't push that thing on you guys. I just tell you that, a lot of things that I cover is in there. But when you go speak to, like, or when you see things from other trader gurus, stuff like that, what they're just selling you on is basic stuff you can look up on the internet. And trust me, the stuff that you need to know about trading and be successful trading, they're probably not teaching. And I know personally because I've seen some courses and I'm like, what? That's it? You know, you're charging thousands of dollars for this. This is something you can easily look up. But psychology behind your trading cannot be taught to you. This is something you have to know on your own. You have to learn on your own. You have to develop on your own. The biggest thing about trading, and I think this was mentioned in one of the books as well too. I forgot which book, but when you become a successful trader, you have to change. You can't be a successful trader the way you are now. You're gonna have to change aspects of yourself to become a good trader. And I'm gonna touch on that a little bit more. But what I mean by that is, your thought process and everything is going to be different. Um, but progress is the process too. So understand that. But anyways, guys, hope you guys are doing well. Stay green out there. Friday hopefully is a good day for us, and we make some money. But until then, stay green. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into this workshop number 11. All right, this one here is going to be talking about scanning for stocks and pretty much how to find them. Um, it's not going to be so much as a how-to video. It's, going to be like a what to do video, I guess you could say. What I'm going to touch on is three different scanners that you can potentially use to be able to, trade on a daily basis. Me personally, I don't use these scanners daily in the middle of trading. I have different scanners that I, touch on in the course like that. But these scanners here are still good. Like I do still use to actually one of them I use in pre-market and the other one I use after hours. And I'll cover kind of why and stuff like that. But this isn't going to be like a detailed one of like how to do it, how it's set up, how I set the parameters. We'll probably walk through just kind of doing like one of them, but yeah, it won't be too detailed. But this part of workshop is just for you to kind of get an idea of scanners you can use um, to be able to find stocks to trade. Okay, we'll do three scanners, and at the end of it, I'll kind of go over all that other stuff as far as the scanners I use and stuff like that I was talking about. So let's go ahead and get into it. One of the first scanners you could potentially use, I absolutely despise, is Webull Scanner. It's already built into the platform. And guys, to be honest with you, pretty much any broker you're using to trade with will probably have a scanner in it. Um, as well as how good it is, I guess a matter of what you're looking for in your criteria. But to me, all these scanners and these brokers are trash. um, to say nonetheless. And again, at the end of the video, I'll just kind of cover the scanners that I use and stuff like that. So yeah, Webull has a scanner. If you pretty much log into your Webull account and you click on screener, and of course you have the criteria here where you can input for your screener and you can save your screener. As you can see here, I've tried it. The parameters on it not really good to me. But anyways, you can name your scanner here what Webull, select the region you want the stocks to be from, um, the brokers you want, I'm sorry, the exchanges you want, and you can determine your market cap size, and that's pretty much all that you can do. All the filters are right here. Again, there's not much you can do. It's not a very detailed screener. I never use this screener with Webull, but this is a place you can go to find stocks, uh, you know, that you might want to trade or have a interest in. So that's just one. And again, guys, this video is going to be very quick. This workshop is going to be very quick because I'm just showing you the scanners. I'm not going to show you how to use them or nothing like that. Plus, I don't want these videos to be too long for you guys because you won't get nothing out of it. I feel like the shorter the video, the more you'll learn, which is why I'm not, doing all the other stuff extra. Your attention span is only but so long. So quicker the better. But we will play with that scanner when you want. Okay. The next scanner, I'll kind of go on this one a little bit longer. ThinkSwim. Okay. You click on, you log into your ThinkSwim account right up here, click scan. It'll take you to this window here. To kind of utilize this one, It's pretty simple. So the cool thing about thinkorswim is that they'll have some preloaded scanners in there. If you click on, these three lines right here, you go to load query. There's some public scanners, and if you want to make your own, your personal scanners would be right here. But here's your public scanners. They have, percentage gap ups, losers, gap up, gap down, um, different stocks that are moving throughout the market. And as you click on them, let's say we do percentage gainers, you click scan, it'll give you all these. These are stocks that have high percentage gainers. Now, if you're going to use some of these, public filters, which is perfectly fine, there's nothing wrong with them. They're just not catered to your criteria personally, but you should always want to do that. Whenever you use them, remember, guys, you want to look for something with high value, because if it's not a lot of value, it's not really trading. Okay, and you can sort these by clicking on the volume section, and it'll sort them in like ascending and or descending order from either low to high, high to low. Obviously you want high to low, so you can look at the top stocks that are moving. Um, Now, when it comes to thinkorswim, this is one I do use. I only use it usually during pre-market, and I use it for scanning for the top ones that are moving in pre-market. Um, I don't know. Should I show you guys on how I have this parameter set up? You know what? I'll do it. Just be nice. So let me clear this out. I'm going to walk you guys through that, and then we'll touch on the last scanner there, and then that'll be into this workshop. But let's see the criteria that I use. Okay. So pretty much you're going to click on Add Filter, and you're going to click on Stock. Now here is where you can start to set the parameters. As you can see, there's a lot of different criteria you can set um, and make changes to. Like if you click on bid size, you can click on all this stuff. And again, this is another reason why I say, like I said in the last workshop, get familiar with your broker, or your platform, so you can know how to manipulate it to your advantage. All right. So let's go ahead and look at the scanner criteria that I use for myself. So obviously click on stocks. Then we're going to click on last, because I want a certain dollar range. I'm not really looking at penny stocks per se. So I usually want to set this to $1. Actually, just type it in here. And sometimes I'll go to like 30 bucks. You can set this to however you want. It don't have to be 30 bucks, but because I'm usually not trading a stock more than $1 or $30 on average. Sometimes I'll jump into some of them higher price stocks, like how IRNT was the other day, but I didn't get into it. But anyways, so that's one criteria that I have set there. Okay, and then you're going to add another filter, and in this one I'm going to be looking for the percentage change. So we're going to go percentage change. For that one, I'm usually looking for that to be positive. Um, don't really set a parameter there, but I just want to see percentage change as a filter. So it needs to be actually moving. Okay. Then we're going to go add filter, stock. Now this is very important. Volume. Because if it ain't no trades happening, ain't no point in me getting in it. If you don't know what volume is, read your book, go study. So I need to see at least 15,000 shares, and then I just keep this blank because, you know, I don't, the more the better, but I have to see at least a minimum of 15,000 shares traded. Then on up. Okay. I think now it does it default. Used to not do that, but that's fine there too. 200. So we're going to go to add filter, stock. And then after we got the volume section, we're going to look for the ask. Pretty much pull that up there. And that's got to be at least $1 too. And then we're going to put 15. Sorry, I'm trying to make this as quick as possible. There we go. Now one more filter we're going to have is study. This one's a little bit more complicated. Where's my plus button? Am I tripping? It's right in front of my face. There we go. Stock. Where did they move it to? Oh, I'm sorry. It's not going to be a stock. It's going to be a study. That's why. Let me delete this. And then on my study, I want it to be unusual value. And this was another cool thing about ThinkSwim Scanner. It's customizable. I don't think it's the best interface, but it's very customizable. So the study that we're going to look for is going to be unusual value. And if you don't see it listed on there, it should be right there. Boom, value, unusual value. Now, what I'm looking for in this unusual value is for the current bars. Pull it up here to have increased at least 20, and it's typical over 1 bar, not 50 bars. Because I'd be here forever waiting for 50 bars to be. You'll be there. You'll be at the tail end of that thing, and that's pretty much the filter settings that I have. Boom, 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 boom. And usually when I'm using this, it's just to kind of utilize for pre-market. I don't use it for like during the day or after hours, something like that. Because what I'm looking for here, like I said, I sort by value, highest to lowest. During pre-market, whatever stock has, whatever, usually like the top 3 to 5 I'm looking at, and it's usually the ones that's carried over from the watch list. The reason why, because if a lot of volume, the volume just means that a lot of shares are being traded, whether it's up or down, doesn't matter. But that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so pretty much these would be like the ones I'm eyeing on my little chart here that I would put that I'm looking at. So for example, we have CRVS was one of the top ones, and then the other one was LPTX, and then I think the other one was PHIO. Pre-market, pre-market, pre-market. So this is pretty much how the stocks look. Obviously, none of these are interesting right now. Only one that kind of looks a little decent, CRVS, Cross View app came back down. So I wouldn't jump at any of these. LPTX is kind of choppy. Not much volume happening in there. Same here, not much volume happening there. And you can kind of tell that by look. Only 134,000 shares. Only 84,000 shares. The pre-market's been open for about, what, 3 hours now? So, and then you got CRVS, about 1.5 million shares traded, which is why it doesn't look as choppy as the other two. But nothing interesting for me to care about getting in this trade. No setup there. So that's pretty much how that works. So yeah, ThinkSwim guys, the scanner here is pretty good. You can customize it however you want. If you want to use some of the preloaded ones, you can. It's perfectly fine. But again, you just want to use the scanners that are tailored toward what you're looking at. And this is what I'm looking at. I just want to. I'm really mainly focused about the value of which stock is popping during pre-market. All right. Now, last one here, but not least, scanner you can use, Finviz. You don't need the elite version, although it helps. To have it, you click on Screener. Now, what you want to make sure you're doing too is clicking on All. Now, you can set your screener by descriptives. If you look for just fundamentals, you look for technicals. I just like to do all, so it's all disposed there. Now, little caveat here. These screeners on Finviz are delayed, I think by like a few minutes here. So even if you get the elite version, still kind of the same thing. Finviz is the one that I use typically after hours. I don't use it during the day. I don't even use it during pre-market because it's lagged. I use it after hours when the market's dead. Then I start to, scan for stocks that I want to look at. Mainly, I use it for like my long-term portfolio. I don't really use it for day trading. I do use it for like looking for after-hour stocks. I'm not going to go into that setup and how I set up the scan for that. this video will be too long to kind of go over the different screeners I have. I'll do a whole separate video on the screeners I have for Finviz for you guys, so you can have those at your exposure. Okay. Um, but yeah, this is just one of the third screeners I use. I don't use it throughout the day just because of the delay. Because I'll do another video too on why you don't want to use it. Because for momentum trading, it's not going to work. Um, if you're a trend trader, maybe, yeah, it's great for trend trading or even swing trading, um, because you don't need nothing instant. You got time to, look at the chart, develop a plan, let it play out, kind of all that stuff. But momentum trading, Finviz is not ideal. I don't know any momentum trader that uses Finviz, so don't waste your time. But again, good for plotting. I love all these, things that they have here for you to be able to make changes to, pricing wise, um, volume, current volume, all relative value. I mean, there's so much filter here. It's great. It's probably I think it's honestly the best free customizable scanner that's out there. However, it is not the best scanner that's out there. But when I started out, I used Finviz a lot. I was using it incorrectly, but I used it a lot. So definitely play around with that, guys, and use it to your full advantage. Again, you don't need to make an elite profile, but if you want to, you can. Um, good, good for you. But yeah, those are pretty much the three screeners that you can, kind of use to find stocks throughout the day, guys. Um, to decide how you're going to trade. So that's just pretty much how this workshop was. I wanted you guys to kind of know that that was there. I went a little bit in depth with the Thinkorswim screener, but not too much. Again, I'll do separate videos on those later on. That'll be more detailed for you, so you can kind of see what I'm seeing when I do use them, and whatnot, and get some more detail. But until then, play around with this on your own. Get exposed to it. You need to have it, you know, in knowledge wise in your belt. And that's pretty much it. All right. Stay green.